Hi, welcome to Tyne Valley Motorhomes. I'm Callum and this is the handover of a Swift Champange 614. So starting the walk round on the driver's side of the vehicle first, the first point you get to is your fresh water filler. So lifting the flap and then using the habitation key, which is this round key here with the Swift logo on, you can lock your lockable filler cap. So this is lockable. Carry yourself a hose pipe with some hose pipe connections, as it's mainly just a brass tap on site. You can either get yourself an expandable one or a normal hose, pop it into there, fill until it either overflows or until you're happy you've got enough water on board, which you can see off the main control panel, which I will go through once on board the vehicle. Should you not be able to get near a hose pipe, but you can bring a aqua roll, a bucket, a container of water. Located underneath this cover here is your, so located underneath the cover is a 12-volt filling point for a submersible wheel pump. So you've got power here, so you can pop your power pins into there, an end into here, and the pump into the water, and it'll suck the water out the drum into the onboard water tank if you can't get near water. Below you've got your freshwater travel drain. So this is where you would release contaminated water. You drain the vehicle down in the winter, or if you're simply not using it for a couple of weeks, you just drain the vehicle down anyway. It's an electronic dump, so you do it from inside by pressing the control panel, and that will allow the water out of the vehicle. Shower point. So you do have your cold water shower point, so you can hose the kids off, the bikes, the dogs. You get a point that fits into there with a trigger gun on the end. As long as the pump's on, you will be able to get pressurized water and use the external shower. Coming further back, you do have your mains connection points. So when on site you hook the vehicle up, or if you're at home and you are charging the vehicle's leisure battery, you want to hook the vehicle up. And to hook up, get your hooker bleed, lift the collar, slide it on to the vehicle. You'll hear the beep from inside, the microwave kicking in. Always hook the vehicle first, then the power source, so that you're never walking around with a live lead. Underneath the back wheel you've got the dirty water drain. So this is anything that you've put down a plug hole: shower water, dishes water, hand basin water, cups of tea, anything that you've drained off will simply go to here. You press the button on the control panel to empty your dirty water, so your waste water. Drive over the grid on the way out of the site, press the button and drain this off. You want to ensure that this is fully drained in the winter as well, as you wouldn't want the water to freeze in the underslung tank. Storage in the back. So you've got your ladder for your bed, you've got lights on both sides, on and winding handle, your carpets there, and then you've got a hanging rail, so you've got you can use this as a wardrobe, and you've got a shelf there, and another shelf above as well for storage. So you've got a large amount of storage in the back for such a compact vehicle. On the back of the vehicle you do have your high level brake light, and then just below the Swift decal you do have your bullet style reversing camera, your two Thule bike rack bars, so you can fit a bike rack to this. This is where the back panel has been strengthened to take the weight of a bike rack. And then on the bottom you'll notice you've got your parking sensors. You see it in here, this is just the garage, obviously a smaller door, but it's wider than the other one. External 230 volt socket on the awning side, so if you need to have power in the awning, as long as you are hooked up, you'll be able to connect a mains appliance item to here. And then to the side of it you do have your external gas point, so if you're using a Caddock or an external barbecue or an heater, you can get a connection, quick release connection, which goes into here. You then need some Jubilee clips and some orange gas hosing. to connect to the Cadac or the gas appliance, and then you can turn on and off, and that'll use the main bottle on board, which is in here, which I'll get into in a second. And then just below you've got your cassette toilet. So located at the back you've got your cassette, so you've got a bit of storage in here for chemicals, other bits and pieces. As long as the blade is in the closed position, which means the mechanism is not engaged, you'll be able to lift and slide the cassette free of the motorhome. You've got a handle so you can drag it to your waste disposal point, which is normally beside your main toilet block, shower block on site. And then to empty, simply remove the cap, press the orange button and tip out. Once you've tipped it out, put some water in. There's normally a tap there. Put some water in via the spout, give it a rinse and tip out again, and then a cap full of liquid, which is 120 millilitres of either the green or the blue, into here, and it's good to go back into the vehicle. Or what you can do is you can put a pint of water in now, or once you push it in, and then drop a tablet, which is in the cellophane format, down the toilet, and that'll just break up into the liquid. The tablets are just easier to store, but it's up to you whether you use the tablets or the liquid. LPG, so this is your liquid petroleum gas locker. So your gas locker, you can hold 2 6-kilogram propane bottles in here, so you can get one further back, one here. So this is just our test bottle. So you'd pop this on first before you connect the pigtail to cool the bottle down, and then to connect the pigtail what you would do is left hand threads, with it being gas it's opposite, so left to tighten, right to loosen. Connect the pigtail until you get it hand tight, and then you'll need a spanner or an adjustable wrench, and you just want to nip it up, and then you turn the bottle on from the top, press this button here, which is your crash valve, make sure that goes green, and then should this little yellow nib pop out, it's just a crash valve on the regulator. You just need to push that in, and it explains that there. Make sure that the bottle is turned off before you do start travelling, and obviously once one bottle's gone you can disconnect and connect to the full, which you'll always have a backup, being able to carry 2 6-kilogram propane bottles. Fridge vents, awning light, we've got your awning, I'll show you that. Vent for your heater when operating on gas, so your boiler can do both gas or electric, or gas and electric together. When heating on gas you just want to make sure this is obstruction free, so it allows the fumes out. On electric it's not going to do anything because it's an element, where on gas it's got to heat the burner and you'll get the fumes from the gas jet out there. At the door of the passenger door you do have your diesel filler, which opens with the main ignition key, and then below you do have AdBlue. So on a Fiat Ducato it's 19 litres, and it'll do 5,000 mile off a full 19 litres. Once you get to about 4,000 mile, the AdBlue light will come on between the temperature and the fuel gauge. It just means that it's telling you that it's now giving you a limit countdown and it needs to be refilled. Top it up as soon as you can, otherwise the vehicle could go into limp mode or fail to start if the vehicle was not topped up with AdBlue, because it gives you a mileage countdown, and if you don't top it up and it goes to 0, it simply won't start. Tyre pressures on the door here, so the inside of the passenger door, so 5.5 bar, which is 79.5 psi all round. Engine batteries underneath the cab floor here, so if you ever got to put a charger on or replenish the battery, you've got to take the cab floor out, just a couple of screws with a screwdriver, some turnbuckles, and then underneath the seat you've got a jack in a brace and a towing eye. Side of the bonnet is where the dashboard is. On the dashboard is where the bonnet release is even. And then underneath the bonnet you've got all your fluids to this side, so you've got your screen wash, which is the main one you're going to need to top your screen wash up when using the vehicle. take this cover off and you've got power steering fluid, coolant, and then you've got your brake fluid reservoir, engine oil filler and dipstick. Your paint code's on the front here for the gold and white, which is 6506. You've got an earth for giving or receiving a jump start as the battery's underneath the carb floor. That's your earthing point. And then just between the air intake and the passenger headlight, just here, pop your key in, lift it up, this cover. You've got a positive terminal there for giving or receiving a jump start off the vehicle. So using your awning winding pole, which is in the garage, pop it on the front here, on the winding point of the awning, on your fuel omnister, and then you want to wind the awning down until it reaches the side of the canopy. Make sure that the wind speeds aren't above 15 miles an hour, because it's then deemed unsafe to use the awning. So to about there, and then what you want to do is, you've got two legs on the front, push it in, it's on a spring, drop it down, lie the foot plate flat, drop that down, adjust the height, and then this plastic tab pops up, push it all the way up. You might think you're going to break it, you're not. It's got to go like that to lock the leg in. So push, slide down, foot flat, adjust your height, push it up, and then what you can do is wind and walk the awning out until you're happy that it's at the right length for you. Peg your feet. If you were going to use a air awning, there's a C rail inside here, so just this bottom rail, you can get a driveway kit so that you can keep this in, attached to it, and you can have a full sided tent on the side of the vehicle if you've got dogs or you need that extra space if you're on a site for a longer period of time. But make sure that the awnings aren't used in any wind speeds over 15 miles an hour, because they are just like kites, will cause damage to either your vehicle or someone else's, and that's not what you want. And then to pack the awning away, you'd simply do it in reverse. So bring the leg in, lock the leg in like so, and then you want to wind it back in, and then push your handle in and turn it, and it'll release from the canopy. So now on board the vehicle, above the habitation door, you've got your main Swift control panel. So you can turn on and off by pressing the Swift logo, which is your 12-volt master switch on and off. So if you're hooked up, you'll get mains 240 volt. If you're not, you'll just get 12 volt. And here you can see that you are hooked up, so you've got your energy symbol, which means it's on mains power and it's charging the leisure battery. And you can view both battery levels there, but I'll show you how else you can view them. So starting off from the left hand side, you've got your pump, so you can turn your pump on and off should you have enough water on board, and you need to have your pump on to operate your taps, toilet, shower and external shower. So that'll pressurize the water through the system when turned on. If it isn't turned on, you'll just get whatever's left in the lines and it'll soon fade away. Next, you do have your awning light, which is the light on the outside of the motorhome, and then you've got your lights that are on the inside of the motorhome. So you've got your dimmer levels, a dimmer 1 and dimmer 2, so you can set them, change them, and you can turn them on and off. And then they all are individually switched around the vehicle. You've got power, so you can view your leisure battery reading, and you can see it's charging as it's got the charging symbol. Take the hookup out to get a true reading of your batteries, as on hookup it will give a false reading because your charger's then putting more power in. You've got your solar panel, which will go to sleep when the vehicle is hooked up, because hookup's bringing in a bigger voltage that the solar panel can't compete with. And then you've got your vehicle battery here as well. And you always want to make sure that your selected battery is your leisure. If that's ever your vehicle, change it back to your leisure, because then the motorhome is running off the van battery and not the leisure battery, which the leisure battery is designed to work the habitation area. You've got your water levels, so you can see that we've got 50% fresh water, 0 waste. And then down here you've got a few buttons, so you've got tank heaters which you can turn on and off, so they'll put current through the water if it's potentially going to freeze overnight. You'd want to pop them on just so that the water does not freeze once the temperatures drop to sub-0 degrees overnight. The water isn't going to be frozen when you walk up. You've got level alerts, so once that goes so far down, it will beep the panel just to say it's time to refill, or when the waste is full, it's time to empty the waste. And you've got frost alerts, so when the control panel notices that it's dropped in temperature outside, it will give you a frost alert, which means that you either need to empty the water or you need to put your tank heaters on so that the water doesn't freeze. And then the last two buttons, you've got empty the fresh, confirm, you want to empty it, empty the waste, confirm you want to empty that. And they are just 12 volt electric dumps on the waste and the fresh. You've got heating, which is through this panel here, but you can operate it through here, so you can adjust your temperature on here, and you can choose the energy. So you've got gas and electric, gas and electric on 2 kilowatts, so the 2 just means 1500 watts of electric, and 2 and gas, which is equivalent to 2 kilowatts and gas. And then you've got electric on 750 watts, 1 kilowatt, and electric on 1500 watts, 2 kilowatts. You can turn your water on and off, eco, hot or boost. So eco is 40 degrees and hot is 60 degrees if you're heating your water through there, but I'll show you how to do it through here, because you'll probably never use this way, you'll probably use it this way. You've got your radio, so you can turn your radio on from here. Once you've turned the radio on by itself, you can then operate it from the panel. And then you've got the fridge, so you've got your temperature of the fridge, 5 being the coldest, and you've got the mode of the fridge. So you've got off if you want the fridge off, you've got auto, which means it'll skip between these 3 sources here, so gas, 12 volt, 230 volt. So whatever it's got to offer, automatic on the auto will switch between it. So if you're hooked up and you've got your gas open, it'll go to hook up because it knows not to waste your gas. If you start the engine, it'll go to 12 volt, and all that does is changes the fridge into a cool box to keep the temperature the same. So you've got to pre-chill it beforehand at home, or if you've been to one site and you're ready to travel to another, if it's on auto and you've turned the engine on, it'll automatically go to 12 volt. and keep your shopping nice and fresh until you arrive at your next site. Or if you stop the engine, it'll go to gas. But please note, when the engine's switched off, it waits 20 minutes before lighting on gas, so you might just have to manually come in and just press gas. And you'd use gas if you were wild camping and had no other energy source available. But just leave it on auto, it'll do its own thing. But make sure that you turn it off, and then when you are finished with the fridge, just leave the door open to stop any mold and bacteria from forming in the fridge when not using the vehicle after you've cleaned it out. To operate your Truma CP control panel, so you press and hold, press and hold to turn on and off the panel. If you press, you can get into the menu, and you'll notice in the top left hand corner you put a motorhome with a thermometer. I know on the picture it looks like it's flickering, it's not, it's just this camera. So you can adjust the temperature of the vehicle from off all the way to 30 degrees, and that's the heat inside the motorhome. And then moving on, you've got your water, so make sure that your boiler's closed and you do have water on board. You can turn it from off to eco, which is 40 degrees of heat in that 10 litre water container in your boiler. Hot, 60 degrees, and boost, which will turn off the heating and prioritise the water first. So we'll just say hot, 60 degrees of heat in your water, and then you've got your energy source, so whether it's gas if you're wild camping and you had no other means of heating the vehicle or the water. Mixture 1, which is 750 watts of electric and gas together. Mixture 2, which is 1500 watts of electric and gas together. So you'd use mix 2 in the winter when you're in desperate need of heating the water or heating the vehicle, so that you're not sitting in a cold vehicle. And you'd use that for the first 10-15 minutes, and then you want to turn it off mixture 2 because you wouldn't want to waste your gas any longer. And put it on it, you can put it onto electric. So you've got EL1, which is 750 watts of electric, and EL2, which is 1500 watts of electric. So normally on most sites you just use EL2, depending on what the amperage the site gives you. Press enter to save that, as you don't want to waste your gas. If you've paid for your site fees, use their electric. In the top right you've got the fan speed, so you've got eco, high or boost. So eco takes a smaller 12 volt feed and is a lot quieter on an evening if you're trying to sleep. High obviously uses a little bit more fan speed, so it's a little bit more louder, but it'll get the circulation of the heat around the van a lot quicker. And then boost is just flat out on the fan speed, the max it can be at, and it'll boost the heat around the vehicle. So for this we'll just say high, and then you do have a timer, so you can time it to come on and off. When the clocks go back and forth, you can adjust the time. And then should you get a warning triangle in the middle, you can go to the spanner setting in the bottom, which is your settings. Go to reset, press preset, and it will reset this control panel. And then you'll also notice that you've got your electric bed drop down switch here, so make sure that the key's turned on, and then you can bring the bed up and down, but make sure the seat belt is disconnected before you do press the switch, otherwise the switch won't work, because this is a safety cutout. And then before you travel, clip it back in so that the bed has a second catch on the seat belt for safety. To assemble the front bed, so this is out your lounge, you'd use your backrests from on here and your backrest from on there. There's a small section of the backrest here that you don't use, and then you'd use the infill cushion to go with the cushions to form the base of the bed. And to assemble, so if I remove the cushions, to make the structure of the bed, you'd use your table with table extension and a little wooden board which can be found in the table compartment. So this end rests on there, that just sits there, and on. So like I was saying, so you've got your table with the table extension, and to lock the table in, just underneath the table you do have this handle here, so that's locked. Turn it to the right hand side to unlock, and the table will pop back up, and then what you'll be able to do is simply pull the extension out of the table. It just fits in the two lugs on either side of the table just to make the table bigger. And of course you can use the extension when dining, not just for making the bed, and that then lives in the table compartment section at the back. So that'll fold, slide into here, along with your makeup board in there. And then your table can spin, so normally it would be like that. Spin it that way and then pop your extension in. Put your weight in the centre of the table and then keep your knee on it when you lock the catch, just to keep the table down on its telescopic leg. So underneath your side bench seat, behind the passenger seat, is the location of your Truma boiler. So your Truma boiler does two jobs. It obviously heats the vehicle with air-blown hot air, and it also heats 10 litres of water inside this boiler at any one time. In the winter, it's very important that you drain the vehicle free of water, so you would empty the electronic dumps for the fresh and the waste, leave all the taps throughout the vehicle in the middle position of the mixer open, remove your shower head from your shower hose and lie that in the shower tray to stop any water from coiling up in any pipes and taps and potentially freezing, and stopping any airlocks. That's why you would leave the taps open. Then you need to open the boiler. So to open the boiler, you've got this little valve here, this yellow one. At present it's lying down, which means that the boiler can hold 10 litres of hot water at any one time. In the winter, what you want to do is you want to lift this up. So you just lift it up to that position there, and it'll drain off 10 litres of water directly out underneath the chassis. So you leave it stood up, and then when you come to reuse the vehicle, you'd obviously close it, put it back in the closed position like it is now. So lie it back down, shut all the taps, assemble the shower head, shut the fresh and the waste dumps, fill the vehicle with water from outside with a hose pipe, come in, put the pump on, go to the cold side of the tap first. You'll get a pressurised flow of cold water straight away. Turn the mixer to the hot, it'll cough, splutter, make all sorts of noises because it's purging the water from the tank underneath the van into here, and it'll cough and splutter until you get 10 litres of water in here and you get a free flow of water from the hot side. This is when you know that your system is primed. But do make sure this is drained off, because if it's not covered under warranty, because it's your responsibility to drain the vehicle free of water in the winter. So like I was saying with the electric bed, release the seat belt, then you'll be able to turn the key and press the button and the bed will drop down. If you were using it as a 4-berth, you'd probably leave it there, put the ladder on, make the bed up underneath. But you can bring it down further down. You may just have to bring this backrests into the centre there, so that the lockers don't catch with it. Bring it to there. Leave it up. And then that's it in its lowest position. You would sleep with your heads at that end, your feet this side, as it's wider at the top, slimmer at the bottom. You've got a Duvet memory foam mattress. If you're putting children in, you can clip these on either side just to stop them rolling out. You've got 2 at the front, 2 at the back, and then what you want to do is just make sure you take your pillars off. You can leave your bedding on, but then again in the winter when you're winterising the vehicle, don't leave the bed up all the way. Bring it down, and obviously you do have a skylight above there as well, so you can open it either side. So all you need to do is push the black in, push it up. It depends which side the wind's blowing. You can have a nice bit of ventilation, or you can open it up both together with a blackout and a fly screen on there. But like I was saying, in the winter, drop it down from the ceiling slightly, so if it was me, I'd probably leave it there in the winter so that air can circulate on top of the mattress and on top of the ceiling. But then when travelling, bring it up and stick your seatbelt on. So in the kitchen area, you've got 3 gas burner ring hob. So allow these to cool down before you put the glass lid down, so that there isn't a chance that you could shatter the glass. And then below you've got oven, and then above the oven you've got the hob. You may want to take your grill pan and oven shelf out when travelling, so that it doesn't cause any vibrations when on the road. You've got storage underneath the sink, so you slide out cutlery tray. You do just need a cutlery insert. You've got your chopping board, which is your sink cover, chopping board, and your drainer, which just sits in the back there. And then underneath you've got a bit more storage. There's your wheel arch, duct for your air blowing, so it does get warm down there. Kitchen lights, two 30-volt sockets with a little wire tidy. Should you be putting something under here, you can run the wire up through there. Pushing the catches, release is the locker doors. So you've got your cups, bowl rack, cups plate rack, sorry, not your bowl rack, and then your solar panel charging regulator at the back, so it just does its own thing. 150 watt solar panel regulator on there, and your plug for your microwave, so if your microwave's giving you any problems, you can unplug it, remove it. But this is just an 800 watt microwave. You've got to be hooked up for this to work, and you'll know when you're hooked up when this is on. So if you don't think you're hooked up, just check if your microwave's on. If your microwave's working, you're receiving 230 volt. And then above, you've got to open the skylight, and then you've got an extractor fan, so you can either extract or bring air in, and you've got 6 settings each way. So as you can see, so you can either bring it in like so, or take it out. But always make sure all your skylights and windows are closed before you do start travelling. And then pinch together. Slide across your blackout blind. Above the fridge is where your Vision Plus status TV aerial is. So at the back you've got an amplifier, so you can min and max the signal. Should it be too strong or too weak, you can adjust it there on the amplifier. And then should you be struggling to get a picture, you can loosen the nut off, push the stem of the aerial up out the roof, and then use the toggle to direct the aerial, but just look where the other motorhomes and caravans are pointing on your site and you should be able to get a good enough signal. But before travel, always make sure that's pulled in and that the nut is fastened so that the wind doesn't get underneath the aerial and break the aerial. So now in the washroom, so you've got your separate shower cubicle. So always make sure before you do start travelling that you put your turnbuckle on your shower doors, stop them from moving. And then, like I said, in the winter, take your shower head off your hose, lie your hose in the tray and leave the mixer tap open. It'll stop any water coiling up in this pipe here and potentially freezing and causing damage. You've got a light here for your wardrobe, and this is your wardrobe. So you've got hanging rail, infill cushions for your bed, silver screens for your side doors of your cab, so your passenger and driver's door, and then storage shelves. So quite a good amount of storage on such a little compact vehicle. Toilet roll holder. You can lift this off, and you've got some storage for your toiletries under there. And then that just clip down. More here, hanging rail for towels, and some more storage underneath the sink. So to operate the toilet, press the blue button at the back, making sure the pump's on, and you'll get your fresh water flush. So always put a little bit of water in the toilet first to lubricate the seal between the top of the toilet and the cassette, and then you want to open the blade. So to open the blade, grey lever, slide that to the right, opens the blade. You can then use the toilet, flush the toilet after use, and slide this back to the left. That'll then shut the blade, disengage the mechanism, and then when the cassette is ready to be emptied, you can get the cassette out should you have done it in that routine. And you'll get a light on here which indicates that the cassette is then full. So if you're doing it that way, you'll be able to go straight outside, pull the cassette out the side of the vehicle, and it shouldn't be stuck. If it's stuck, you know what you've done, the blade isn't closed. So in the cab, to the right of the driver is your handbrake. So you've got your handbrake down here. Like I was, to black the doors, there's a silver screen which has got 5 press studs on in the back washroom wardrobe, and that clips on this side and that side to black those out. And then on the doors you do have electric driver and passenger electric windows, followed by electric mirror adjustment. So you've got either the top or the bottom. So top being the big mirror, bottom being the blind spot, and you can adjust that all from being in the cab here. Headlight adjustment, rear fog lights, and you can turn off your stop start, so you can disconnect it should you not want it. So as this is an automatic, when the battery's to a sufficient charge, the stop start will work. So you pop your foot on the brake at the traffic lights or when you stop in a queue of traffic, and it'll cut out. As soon as you lift up off that brake slightly, the stop start will kick back in and the engine will start, ready for you to put your foot on the accelerator and pull away. Wipers with trip computer on the end of the stalk, which will give you your range, your travelling time, your average consumption, your current consumption when you're driving, your average speed, your average travelling times, and that's trip A and trip B. So you've got 2 trip computers. If you do want to reset them, you just press and hold the end of the stalk. Answer and decliner call. Scroll through your radio channels, media, contacts, mute, volume and voice command, and then you've got your lights and the indicators, followed by your bottom stalk, which is off. Cruise, get your speed, so get your speed up with the accelerator, push up to set, push up to speed up, pull down to slow down, cancel, resume on the end, and then the bottom speed limiter. So going up slowly goes up in ones, pushing and holding goes up in fives. You can turn it on and you can turn it off. So turn it on means if you're in an average 50-mile-an-hour camera zone, you can press the accelerator, it'll go no faster. Turn it off, it'll then go to the speed that you want it to go to. 9-speed auto, so you've got park, reverse, all the way down to drive. To the left for manual, back to the right for drive, and it'll just change itself. Back to park. Drive modes, so it'll come up on here, so you've got eco, normal or power, so you might want to just leave it in normal. If you do need to, power holds the revs by holding the gear longer. Normal, it'll change gear. Obviously if you do need to get it to speed quickly, you would just put your foot flat to the floor. It's got kick down function, it'll drop a gear and it will then start to move quicker and gain speed. Traction control plus, which just means if you're on wet grass or gravel, you can turn that on, it'll stop it spinning, it'll give it a bit more control with the traction control. Hill descent, which is just like an engine brake. Hazards, locks the door including the habitation door, so it locks the cab and the hab door, so you'd hit that on a night. Make sure all your other garage doors are locked with the key. Heated mirrors, USB for charging and a 12 volt for charging. You do have a spare mirror there, but you don't need it because you've now got your rear view, which acts as your reverse camera as well on here, so forget about that. You can just keep that if you need it. On the left hand outer ring, you've got your temperature, so hot or cold, and then 1 to 4 being your fan speeds. Must be on at least 1 or more for your aircon to work, which is this one here. And then on the right hand out ring, you do have your distribution, so face, feet or screen, and whether you're bringing fresh air in or recirculating air. To operate the radio, turn on and off here. FM, AM, DAB. 1 to 3 to save on the top, or you can press all and save 12 of your favourite stations. You can press media, which can be a USB beside your cup holders, or Bluetooth audio if you connect your phones, because it doesn't take a CD. And you can press nav, and you've got TomTom, so you can navigate to, and then you want to just put address. If you go abroad, you can press the United Kingdom flag and change it to the country that you're going to, and then it'll change from postcode to coordinates if you're going to Spain or France or further afield. Pop your postcode in, click where you want to go, and then you just want to press done and start your route calculation to wherever you want to go, and it'll tell you how many miles and how many minutes it's going to take you to get there. Phone, you click on phone and you click on settings, and you want to add a device in the top left hand corner, and you want to start to find Uconnect on your phone. Press pair with it on your phone, then it'll then ask if you want to allow your contacts to be saved. Press allow, and it will download your phone book into the vehicle, so you can scroll through, and whoever rings, you'll come up with a name and a number instead of just a number, and then at least you know who's calling. That's all your head unit, and then you do have more, which you can view your trip computers on here instead of through this little screen on the dash. like so, and then you just press and hold to preset each individual trip computer instead of resetting all of them on the end of the wiper stalk. Like I was saying, reverse camera, rear view camera, it's the same thing, you get the same view. You can see that when you're going forward as well. And then to black the windscreen out, you just need to pull this up, tilt this down, and that blacks the windscreen out on an evening, and then you put your foils on the side of your doors.